Hello, I'm Greg Jarrett in New York. The George Zimmerman defense team further presenting their case by calling on Zimmerman's friends to offer testimony on whose voice is screaming on the 911 call.
Do you have an opinion as to whose voice that is in the background?
Yes, I do.
And whose voice is it?
George Zimmerman's voice.
And how do you know that?
We've spent a lot of, or had an occasion to get together many times. I know his voice, but also when we were working on the political campaign, we were loud and waving signs and just kind of hooping it up. And so I know what his voice sounds like when he gets excited or loud.
You heard the person you believe is George Zimmerman yelling, "Help, help, help," continuously, correct?
That was absolutely George Zimmerman.
Right, and he was yelling, no doubt in your mind, you believe it's George Zimmerman.
There's not a single doubt in my mind, sir.
Okay, all right.
In dire straits, whether it be in combat or anything else, your voice obviously changes. I've heard a 250-pound man, sound like a little girl.
Right.
The primary investigators in the case gave testimony regarding Tracy Martin's reaction to hearing the 911 call.
I let him listen first before I asked anything.
Okay, and what did you ask him?
I believe my words were, is that your son's voice in the background? Or something. I think I said a little differently than that, but I inquired as if that was, in fact, his son yelling for help.
And what was his response?
It was more of a verbal and nonverbal. He looked away and under his breath, as I interpreted, said no.
This was later refuted by Tracy Martin himself, who also took the witness stand.
I didn't tell him, no, that wasn't Trayvon. I think the chairs had wheels on them, and I kind of pushed away from the table and just kind of shook my head and said, I can't tell.
So your words were, I can't tell.
Something to that effect, but I never said, no, that wasn't my son's voice.
Zimmerman's gym owner showed the jury physical examples of possible fighting positions, and he also gave testimony regarding the defendant's physical condition at the time he left the gym, as well as his fighting ability.
At what point did George Zimmerman get to in that training sort of progression?
He never got off shadow boxing and hitting the heavy bag and learning how to punch.
So tell me or explain to the jury what that means.
He's still learning how to punch. He didn't know how to really effectively punch.
Outside the jury's presence, Judge Nelson ruling to allow the toxicology report into evidence.
So I'm going to deny the motion in limine and allow the testimony. If there's an objection during the course of the testimony, I'll rule upon the objection at that time.
29-year-old Zimmerman, a former neighborhood watch volunteer, is on trial for fatally shooting Trayvon Martin, an unarmed 17-year-old, last year. Zimmerman is pleading not guilty to second-degree murder, claiming he acted in self-defense. For gavel-to-gavel coverage of the trial, go to foxnews.com/Zimmerman. In New York, I'm Greg Jarrett, Fox News.